Hey, what's up? It's Dave here from the Matt and Dave Show, thanking you for listening and reminding you to like, share, and subscribe if you like what you hear. I think you will, but you know, I'm biased.
I'm Dave. There's no Matt. And this is the Matt and Dave Show. However, I do actually have a surprise guest with me. I have my nephew, my often talked about nephew, Kieran. Say hi, Kieran.
Hi.
Say higher, Kieran.
Higher.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Yeah. You excited to do this?
I guess.
Is it weird?
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Like, what is like the weirdest thing? Like, what is the thing that you worry about doing this the most right now?
I don't like my voice, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just one of those things you'll get used to it.
Well, I know that's probably just my brain is like, oh, it's your voice, so it sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the kicker is like you're so used to hearing your voice inside your head.
Yeah.
Like when you actually hear it, like 'cause the way you're going to hear it on the recording is the way the rest of the world has heard your voice.
Exactly.
Like your entire life.
Yeah.
So don't worry.
And well, that's how I interpret it. I'm like, other people. It's not like my voice sounds like that normally. Well, it does, but my brain makes it so. I don't like
it just sounds different.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm excited. I'm real excited to do this.
Okay.
Because I need to talk to young people, and I am not young people anymore.
You aren't young people
No,
anymore.
I haven't been young people for a long time. I mean, let's be real about it. So my question for you is this. Well, hold on. All right, so these are the questions that I get as like a grown ass human being that actually has conversations with people younger than him. So this is my biggest question that other adults will ask me about like their kids.
Okay.
What is Minecraft? People will ask me, they're like, "Hey, my kid's in Minecraft. What is the Minecraft?"
I mean, this is something that I've always been asked.
Right.
Yeah.
Like grown up will be like, "Hey,
little kids that are littler than me."
Right.
will ask me this.
Yeah. So, I know what Minecraft is. I play Minecraft, but I'd like to get your take on it. Like,
Okay.
what is Minecraft?
So basically, Minecraft is a open world game where your creativity basically is infinite. You can't. The only limitations that you have in the game really is how deep you can go and what blocks you can use.
All right. When you say open world, what do you mean by that?
The world is infinitely generated. So no matter how far you go, you're always going to have more land to explore, and it's different.
So when you play the game, how do you play the game?
Well, I'm a creative guy.
Okay.
So,
and just for the people at home, so there's two different ways to play it.
well, technically there's three.
Well, there's a bunch of different ways you can play. The two main ones.
The two main ones is
Yeah.
survival and creative.
All right.
Basically, in survival, you have health.
Okay.
And you start with nothing at all. And your goal is basically to survive.
Okay.
And it can be difficult the first night because you have monsters that want to kill you, and you have
Right.
and you have nothing on you. And when you start, you need to get materials because you start midday and you want to have a house before night because it's kind of hard to punching monsters in the face and surviving.
Right. That's a limited amount of thing. Like you can only punch so many monsters.
And it's really fun, actually. I mean, I play survival a lot more than I did back then when I first started playing. Yeah, and I play it with monsters now because when I first started playing, I was peaceful.
I remember.
I don't know why, but I was like,
Well,
I
it's
guess
scary.
I was scared.
It can be scary, like because it's like noise driven
yeah.
too. So you hear like the
Yeah. Well, especially now since I have surround headphones.
Oh,
So,
dude, yeah, that's awful.
Yeah. And it gets really fun because later in the game, when you actually have a house and you have tools and stuff, it's like, well, I have the materials. I want my house to look better. I want my house to be cooler. And then you can plan to remodel and do all this stuff. You can make farms. Like, once you get later in the game, there's so many cool things. And you can start automating things with redstone. And redstone is basically, it's the game's power source. Like, you would you could set up something. So basically, there's an item in the game called a piston, and what it does is it pushes a block forward,
Right.
and you could turn it on with redstone.
Right.
But you can make complex contraptions that you can make, like farms that automatically farm for you and everything like that.
Sure.
It's pretty cool. But I remember my first days. I played with you. You were the one who got me into Minecraft.
I am.
And
I was the one that actually got you Minecraft.
You were the one who got me Minecraft.
Yep.
And I originally lost the key that you got me.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised.
But I remember joining, and you guys had all these amazing houses.
Right.
And
yes.
and like you had like this giant nether house.
I
That
did.
Was like
I did.
This was back when the game had like a sky limit, and like you built all the way to that limit.
I did.
And
I like that house.
I just made this little wooden house that I would stay in because at daytime there would still be monsters. Well, what really happened was I made it so I was lazy, so I made it inside like a mountain. So it was less effort, and it was only one story. It was basically just a box, nothing creative. This is before I somewhat got into like actually building good things in the house. I was like in 5th grade, so I didn't really have any creativity yet.
The bar was not set high for you at that point.
But basically, I tried to make it as hard as possible for monsters to get in. I made since my house was built in the mountain, I made it kind of like far to get into the door.
Right.
So but I remember one time I heard this monster, and I wouldn't leave my house.
I remember that.
So afraid.
I remember that.
And I was like, I walked up to the door, and I remember it was a spider, and it just fell in front of me. And I got so scared. I just left the game, joined back later, and hoped that it wouldn't be there anymore. And eventually, I actually built up the courage to fight it. I don't remember if I died. I might have.
I'm sure you did.
But
that's the way it goes.
But and then eventually it was like, I want to make this 2 stories, and I never did because there was too much mountain in front of the house.
And it's hard. I mean, and that's the thing. That's the reason I think a lot of people like survival is because, like the blocks don't. It's like building with blocks.
Yeah, you have more of an incentive to keep going too.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like building with blocks. Like creative is just blocks. Like you have an infinite amount of blocks to play in, and you can build whatever you want. And it's a visual thing. Like you build it for the aesthetic rather than. But
in survival, if you build something that you would say build in creative, you have that. I did that. I worked hard to make that.
Right. There's challenges to getting all the stuff to make that.
Exactly.
Like there is. I mean. Trees are, you would think, just going down, chopping down a tree, but you have to make sure you don't take out all the trees, and then what? You have to make sure you replant.
Exactly.
You have to make sure the area that you replant is safe.
Yeah, and on top of that, you have to make sure that you're by trees in the first place, because I've had people talk to me. They're like, I tried playing the game, but I can't get started, and I'm like, well, what biome did you start? And they're like, it was a desert biome. And I was like, well, that's why, because you can't build houses with sand, because sand just ends up falling.
Right. Yeah. You need trees. You need fire. You need, dude, I'm with you.
But, and I mean, it's insane to think though, because I was checking the other day, like Xbox is what it's most sold on now. And
really?
Yeah. And
it's not a PC game anymore?
It's came out the most on Xbox. And I was like,
you're making me feel so old.
I know. And I'm like, the Xbox, like the game came out like years later.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So yeah, but and I remember you guys had like gigantic houses. You had a whole rail system.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you had a whole underground system.
Yeah, we had a tunnel system too.
I remember I was snooping around,
of course,
because I was little.
Sneaky. Yeah, I get you.
So I went to Mark's house. Mark's house was underwater.
Yes.
So through the tunnel system, and I remember hearing a creeper, and I was like, I'm gonna go hide in his house because I'm really scared. The creeper was in his house.
Oh, and it blew up and the water flooded?
Blew up his staircase. And so kind of, I think didn't he have an MTV logo or something like that?
I don't remember. Oh, no. So my brother's name is Mark, and he has an M logo. He has his own like little logo. He's a designer, so he has his own little
Yeah.
like logo. But I'm sure he put that in like the floor
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
it's like
he
an
did.
M with like brackets around
so
it.
yeah, it blew part of that, and water flooded in it, and I was so scared because it's like if someone finds out, I am dead. I
would be dead.
I ran out of the place and then just quit and tried to not talk to you because I was one of those people, and you know this. I would take people's stuff without letting them know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that you would get mad at me,
Yeah.
and I was like,
So there's like, it's our server, so there's logs of what happens.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I didn't know that when I was that age.
Right.
I was like, I do something and they're not going to know probably.
we'll be fine.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. Actually, I had that instance. Mine was a little more visual. Actually, I cut myself with a knife when I was younger, and I wasn't supposed to have I just earned the privilege to use this tiny little pocket knife, like an inch and a half of
I
pocket
still don't
knife.
have that privilege.
Oh yeah, it's smart. So I was like, yeah, all right, I got this pocket knife, with the scouts and stuff. I'm going to be cool. And I went outside. My parents were sleeping, and I had this like lemon. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to peel this lemon. I'm peeling the lemon. And this is, this is like an inch and a half of pocket knife. Like it is the most dinky pocket knife in the world.
Yeah.
But it's sharp. Like it's a sharp knife.
It's a knife.
Yeah. So and I go to peel some of this lemon, and I slice through the lemon, and I kid you not, I like just shave off part of my index finger.
And it must have been even more worse because it was a lemon.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just like screaming, like I'm outside. I'm like, oh, but I'm like, no one can know. Nobody can know what happened. Otherwise I lose my knife privilege. So I'm like, all right, we'll be good. I got this. So I go and I get a Band-Aid, and I'm like, I'll just putting this, it's not even wide enough to cover the gash in my finger.
My goodness.
And I'm like, I'll just put a Band-Aid, because that's what you do when you're a kid. You're like, I'll figure it out.
Fine.
I'll put a Band-Aid on it. We're gonna be great.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ah. And the Band-Aid's like red. I'm like, okay, I'll just get enough. Like I went through like 10 Band-Aids before I'm like,
you not lightheaded or anything?
No, you don't lose a lot of blood that way.
You to the point where you were like, you said to the lemon, no one must know about this.
right. I like buried the lemon. Like nobody can know.
No, I'm sorry.
Nobody can know. But like eventually I was like, like I just kept burning through Band-Aids. I'm like, I have to.
We're running out of Band-Aids.
We're running out of Band-Aids. I have to tell like a grown-up human being. I was in so much trouble, and I did lose my knife privileges. Moral of the story: be better. Be better at the thing you do, and don't get caught.
Yeah, don't cut a lemon with a knife for no reason.
All right. So what is, like, when people ask you about Minecraft, what is the thing that you want them to know? Like people always ask me, is it cool? Like, is it okay for kids? Yeah,
of course it is a great game for kids because it teaches them creative thinking.
Now, and when I say kids, I mean like you get like people ask young kids.
Yeah.
Like, would you say 4-year-olds could play this game?
You could get a 4-year-old into playing it. You do have to get used to them probably asking you questions every 5 seconds.
I'm going to let you a little secret. That's just the nature of kids.
It's one of those games where it's like, you don't have to know how to play it at all. You can learn by just playing it eventually.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things, because you know how basic kids games go. It's like you have an app where you can do a lot of things. It's very open-ended, and they learn just by doing that kind of stuff. So like even just putting them in front of the game and being like, you just play this for a while. I mean, they're going to learn like, oh, well, this makes me dig deeper. This makes me deep further. It can start them into thinking creatively.
Okay.
And because one of the first things that I did when I got Minecraft was like, I'll make a happy face in the dirt. Like
sure.
Yeah. And but I mean, 4-year-old, you could start them as 4. I'd say probably better around 6 years old and stuff when they can think a bit better. But you don't necessarily, because my mom's boyfriend, he bought his grandchildren Minecraft, and he's saying
his grandchildren,
his sister's children. I don't know. But. I don't know how families work.
It's like niece and nephew. Like you're my nephew.
Yeah. Well, oh yeah. I guess she. I wasn't thinking about that.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
But
Dude, you see the look on my face?
Yeah.
Like my grandchildren.
No,
What?
now that I'm thinking, like, he's not that old. Okay,
He's not that old. No.
but basically, he's always telling me he's like, because he doesn't know that much about the game either. He just knows the
Sure.
kids like playing it.
Sure.
They're coming up and being like, I want to build a pool or something like that, and it's like, but it's like that's one of the things that starts with it. You know, you don't have to start them in survival mode. You can start the creative, and it's like you want to build a pool. So what do you want to look for? Water and something to dig with.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
And that's where it can start. You know, the kid can be like thinking about, oh well, I want to make a house out of wood, and then they have to think about, you know, oh, I need to get wood and I need to think how I'm going to make this house and stuff like that. You know, once you get older, you play in survival, and then that's where it really starts to get spicy.
Spicy.
There you go.
That's a good word. All right.
But no, I'd recommend it for maybe not 4-year-olds, but like 6-year-olds.
Okay.
That would work. Because yeah, it's a learning experience. It can teach you things about.
Sure.
It's basically creativity wise. It
No, I
makes
get
you
you.
think harder. And it makes you think more outside of the box.
All right. That's good.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have other questions. I'm just going to go down the gamut of people's
Hey, don't worry
like
about
stuff asked me. All right. So Matt and I have talked about this
Mm-hmm.
before, but we really don't have a lot of experience with it. Like, so we're going to talk about YouTube.
Okay.
Now, you are an avid YouTuber.
I do stream YouTube, so YouTube is like the only thing I stream on now.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Like, so
I
that
don't
is
watch cable anymore. I just
right.
watch
Like
YouTube.
you just YouTube. Like
Yes.
that is your sole method of media consumption.
Yes, it is.
YouTube.
Yes.
Now, Matt and I, because we're older dudes, like we use YouTube as like we're gonna look up something.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I want to see that clip, or this seems like an interesting clip.
Yeah.
And there's shows that I subscribe to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
On YouTube, like there's and not just shows that have TV content on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like YouTube exclusive content. Like there's stuff that I'll
And
watch.
don't get me wrong, there are parts of YouTube that make me mad now.
Why?
Well, basically, YouTube is known about. It's called the adpocalypse.
The adpocalypse?
Yes.
Explain.
So basically, you have big YouTubers on there, and YouTube is their job. They make
Yes.
money through
Yes.
advertisements. Well, like a year ago, I think, YouTube made this thing. If your video gets flagged for, if your video gets age restricted, you can't make revenue off of it anymore.
Okay.
Which
All right.
which for young kids is fine, but for older people that watch and like just like normal YouTubers, like big YouTubers like PewDiePie and stuff,
Yeah.
like now you can't cuss anymore. You have to censor yourself just to make money.
Right. So
And-
it's a revenue stream for people.
Yeah.
And if you
And and that's one of the things people get mad at YouTubers for like wanting money, and it's like, but I'm always like, you realize that this is what they do for a living. They need money to live.
All right, why don't we take it back just a little further?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you explain to people like what it's like just watch like why do you watch YouTube and not like cable? Like why like what is it about YouTube
So,
that gets you?
Basically, YouTube it's just like any kind of streaming source. When you're watching cable, you're locked to what cable has to offer.
Yes.
You have to wait 30 minutes to watch a show if your show's on next stuff. YouTube is basically you can look up something because one of the biggest things was Let's Players.
Yes.
Watching people play games. Back then I didn't have that much money to buy games, and these games were interesting. So it was like, I might not get to play this game for a while, so I might as well watch people play it. And
So that was that was the reason you started
Yeah.
watching because that's another thing. I was actually going to get to that a little later.
Yeah.
But like people always ask me like why do they stream
yeah,
people playing video games? Like why not just play the video game
my
itself?
mom always said the same thing. Like, how is it entertaining to you? You're not playing the game.
Sure.
But and now I'm different about it because now since I can actually afford games, if there's a game that I want that's coming out, I won't watch a person. I may watch like one episode on the game, but I won't watch a full playthrough because I want the gameplay to be unique. And of
Yes.
course, streamer and YouTubers are smart about that now. They realize people don't want spoilers and stuff, and people will actually upload gameplay that's non-spoilers,
Yes.
and it's a lot easier to see. Oh, well, maybe I'll like this game.
Right.
But
So you view it as more of a try it before you buy it type of thing?
yeah. And on top of that, I'm a teenager, so memes. There are a lot of memes on YouTube. There are a lot of comedy. There's some funny stuff on YouTube.
Like what? Like, so YouTube comedy channels. Like, what constitutes funny on YouTube? And here's the reason I ask, because the internet can be very insular. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Like, things that are funny. As a guy who works on the internet, you have to think about like what's can reach a broad audience and what will be funny to people who are on Twitter all the time. That's
the thing about you. That's one of the things that makes me mad about YouTube is so it's different for everyone. Not everyone's going to like the same content.
Sure.
And that's something that makes YouTube unique. You have certain YouTubers that do different things. But then this is the thing that makes me mad is you have YouTubers that try to get all those viewers in one sitting. They'll make clickbait titles and stuff that is misleading. And the most disappointing part about it is, I like people who create YouTube videos. I want them to get the money that they deserve. But it sucks when you have people uploading good content and then you have people just making videos that have misleading titles, misleading thumbnails, and then like saying like, oh, we found GTA 6 in GTA 5 and stuff like that. And it's a 10-minute video because basically YouTube has this 10-minute rule where your video has to be 10 minutes long to get more than one ad in the video, to put mid-roll ads in it.
Mid-roll ads you have to
So you'll have people that, these YouTubers that will make 10-minute videos that have no content whatsoever and put like 10 ads in it. So they get all the money for doing nothing.
Right.
And their videos get millions of views because of the thumbnail. Because once you click onto the video, it's like I didn't come here to see a person just talk about theories and stuff like that. I came here for what they said on the thumbnail.
You feel lied to.
But
all right, hold on. Before, and I can tell you're very passionate about this, and I don't want to stifle that.
Yeah, no, I'm getting off track.
You're getting a little off track. Okay, now that is what you don't like about YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, what do you like about YouTube?
The community is good.
Yeah.
And the thing about is the community.
And specifically, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, don't worry.
What do you like about YouTube? And like, it's the same thing. Like, should parents be worried that their kids watch it?
So what I like about YouTube is, once you're on YouTube for a while, you get channels that you like, and you can subscribe to them, and then they release videos every once in a while. So that means every time you come home, you usually have a new video to watch.
Okay.
And it's not like if I wanted to watch E3 presentation right now, because I couldn't see the streamings of it.
Yes.
I could just go on YouTube and search it up. It'd be right there. And, video games, I could search video game stuff. Basically, if you search something up, it's usually there. And the community is fun. The community, younger community is not the best because that's the community that gets into that clickbait area.
Sure.
That's how people take advantage of younger kids.
Sure.
But one of the things that I would say about YouTube is I wouldn't recommend starting your kid too early with YouTube.
Like how old do you think they should be before they start watching YouTube?
10, 13.
Really? That old?
Because this is the thing. You have people that one of the biggest things on YouTube is influence. These people that they're watching is going to influence your children.
Yes.
And I've seen people, one of the biggest things was Jake Paul.
Yes.
Kids watch Jake Paul all the time.
Why?
I don't know. I find him not funny at all.
Really?
I think I don't like him at all.
Any of the, there's two Pauls, aren't there?
Jake Paul and Logan Paul.
Brother. Yeah. None of them? You don't like any of them?
I don't like them at all.
Why don't you like them? What is it about it that, like, I don't think it's funny either, but I'm a 40-year-old dude.
It's the type of content that they upload. They're that type of, they do clickbait stuff. Now, I will give them credit. When they make clickbait stuff, it has content. It has video that you could watch.
Sure.
The thing is, the comedy and stuff in the video is not that good. They're basic teenagers that got overwhelmed with popularity. So, and they've done some really questionable stuff that kids have watched before.
Right.
There's been the fiasco about how, I think it was Jake Paul, I'm pretty sure, how he went to Japan and he was
Suicide Forest.
Yeah, he was like, what, you've never seen a dead body before? He was filming it, he was making fun of it.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, he was being completely racist and like going in the shops and like being like using a bunch of stereotypical stuff and like treating people like them like utter garbage and stuff. But like the thing about it is like kids are gonna watch this and they're gonna be like, well, this is a cool thing to do.
Sure.
So I should do it. It's an influence problem that I have. If I had a kid, I wouldn't want them watching someone like that. And I know and there are YouTubers that have children, and they say all the time,
you're good.
They say all the time that strictly, I don't let my children watch the polls because they're a really bad influence. And I mean, there are some YouTube channels that you can watch. They're good for children, but children YouTube channels have been the most like hated thing so far on YouTube ever since they became a thing because of the content that they upload.
You think it's, how do I say that? You think it's trashy, that it's just poorly done?
So when you have people like PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, and a bunch of other channels, they try on their videos. They make them so they're good. You'll laugh at them, and like that they tried in their videos.
All right.
But people have started using YouTube. We like to say milk people for views. They milk a tiny subject for views. As much views is a problem because the most views they get, the more money they get, and it really sucks when you have people that try really hard, like spend months on a project and then get nothing out of it. And that was one of the things when YouTube, the 10-minute rule has caused YouTubers to change. Back when montage parodies were a thing.
Explain what a montage parody is.
So basically, a while back, like 2015, we had
a while back. So many years ago.
Well, what I mean by while back,
but in YouTube years, that's a while back.
Like, it's so not funny anymore.
Sure.
But basically,
it's a dated source of humor.
It was basically like there used to be CS:GO gameplay or stuff like that, where
CS:GO is a Counter-Strike game.
Yeah, Counter-Strike shooting game. But basically it'd be gameplay footage and they would put like these crazy effects, loud noises, memes and stuff all into this video at one time. It'd be really explosive, like
sure.
It was just insane, and it was funny at the time.
It's like the John Cena thing.
Yeah. And these took a while to make because there was so much stuff packed into that tiny
some layers to it.
And I still know YouTubers today that make videos like that very rarely because they put so much effort into them. But since they put so much effort into them, it makes them still good and relevant. And that's the thing. These YouTubers have changed into commentary channels, which I like some commentary channels. They basically, they talk about the newest stuff.
Sure.
One of my favorites is Pyrocynical. He talks about like the latest news, memes. He does gameplay footage sometimes. But when he first started his channel,
it's like just his opinion.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when he first started his channel, he did montage parodies, and everyone loved him for it. It's still a meme today about, he just quit montage parodies. But the reason why he quit montage parodies was because he wasn't making enough money to keep going.
Sure. The effort. So here's the funny thing. Like, as I hear you talk about what you like and don't like about YouTube and stuff like that, you are echoing, and this is funny to me. You're echoing the same gripes that people have had about TV for years.
Yeah.
Like they changed the format of something.
Yeah.
Like even to the point with commercials. Like, there's so many more commercials now than there used to be because they're trying to eke as much money as they can out of one show. But it's hilarious to me because you've discovered this on a completely new platform organically.
And that's the thing. It's just like when you're watching TV, you're gonna get content no matter what.
There's some TV that could be questionable about that,
but better than what you would get on YouTube because you'll literally have YouTube videos of. For example, there's this one, I don't remember his name, but there's this guy who did a YouTube video on I already mentioned it, GTA 6 release date found in Minecraft. Yeah. I mean, not Minecraft, in GTA.
Right.
And the whole video was literally just him driving around in a car, and one of the biggest things of the video was he went to the beach and there was a towel that said I heart VC, which of course means I heart Vice City.
Right.
And of course he was like, I don't know what this means, but maybe it means that they're going to have a Vice City HD remake. And it's like,
Right.
no.
Yeah.
And basically think that type of content, but stretched out to 10 minutes long with 5-minute with ads in them.
So what you're upset about right now is what a lot of people have issue with talking head opinion shows on like news networks and radios and stuff like that. Because it's people just taking something that could exist, couldn't exist. And this is neutral of whatever your political leanings are, but there's people that are just like, oh, I want to talk to you for a second about squares. All right, now squares have been creeping into society for how long? I don't know. We'll tell you after the break. You know what I mean? Like, and you're like, oh God, squares. Like I see squares all the time.
And I know I'm probably just repeating myself.
No.
You know, it just, and for a normal person, this wouldn't bother them. They wouldn't even notice it. But I remember I started watching YouTube probably back in 2008. This was before it was a big thing, before you had bad YouTube channels on there. Like the worst thing that I could possibly find back then was animations. And the only thing I would do was I would search up Minecraft roller coasters and I would watch that for hours on end.
Sure, because Minecraft roller coasters are awesome.
Yeah.
They're still awesome.
They still are.
Yeah.
Especially how much Minecraft has come along. Like they make some cool stuff. But you know, now today it's in, if this was 2008,
if this was 28.
You know, I would recommend YouTube to kids. You could watch it as a kid. You'd have to still be mindful, but you wouldn't have really bad influence.
So here's the big question. Should parents be scared that their kids watch YouTube?
Yes. Depending on the age.
All right, let's say 13-year-olds.
No. If once you're a 13-year-old, you should be smart enough. There'll be a bit of influence and stuff in there.
As with any media, though. You get that on TV, you get that on anything.
The main thing is just when you're 13, you're stupid. Yeah, I will admit I was very dumb.
I was dumb when I was 13 too. It's a universal thing.
But
you're good.
No, but when you're like 6 years old, you know, you watch something, it will take you as an influence. Like it's a lot more effective when you're younger.
Yes,
that's one of the main reasons.
You're more pliable when you're younger.
One of the main reasons why kids shows are like they're more interactive and stuff like that, because kids will take that influence in.
So do you think there should be like an age limit, like an actual like government regulated age limit for YouTube or something like that?
No, because, well, see, that's the thing. There are kids, you can learn, there's learning stuff on YouTube.
No, there's a lot of good content on YouTube.
There's a lot of good content.
There's a lot of good content on the internet, but there's a lot of terrible
bad content that your kid can get into. And the thing is, so many other kids watch it, they can get pulled in to watching this bad content.
Here's what I think, and I'm going to paraphrase a lot of adults here. I won't speak for everybody, but here's what I think the worry is. Like and why they get scared and they just negate a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because they are scared. All they hear about is the bad stuff.
That is true.
They don't know enough about it to be able to sift between the good and the bad. So the blanket solution is they just get scared. They're like, no, YouTube.
Well, that's back to like
burn YouTube.
Yeah, that's back to how people milk things out for views. If you see something that's like if there's a problem where you know, maybe I can't think of an example now, but basically something good happens in a situation, but a little bad thing happens, the news company will almost always go for the little bad thing.
Yes.
Because people will click on that.
Yes.
Or they'll just read over it and they'll be like, oh, well, that's bad.
So let's put you in the situation. All right. How much do you know about augmented reality?
Like VR?
No.
AR. It sounds familiar.
Okay. Exactly. So you know about augmented reality, what a lot of grown-ups know about like YouTube and Twitch and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got a kid that comes up to you and he does a lot of AR stuff. And he's like, oh, dude, check this out. And it's just like an explosion. Like, he's like holding up his phone and you can see like this explosion off in distance. Like, I made our house explode. Like, and he's learning a lot.
Yeah.
You think he's learning a lot. You've heard that he's learned a lot, but what do you do with that kid? Like, how do you fix that?
Like, is it my kid?
Yes.
So,
or let's just say it's not your kid. Let's just say it's a very sweet looking kid that you happen to like a little bit.
Well, I mean, when I first got electronics, that was my thing. I loved doing things where I could just destroy everything.
Sure,
it's
sure.
fun.
Right.
But
you don't understand it.
Yeah. So basically, what I would say is it's fine if they're into it. You just don't want them to get too into it.
But how do you check that? You know nothing about this. I know more about this than you do. Like, how do you check that? How do you monitor what they do?
Well, what I would say is you would want to start early when they first start using it. I don't know. I was never taught this way.
That's what I'm saying. But like, you learned YouTube. Nobody ever taught you YouTube.
Well, I would say I would probably start with you can only have a certain amount of time on electronics.
Sure. Does this sound familiar to you?
I'm so glad those days are over. But like you would, and I mean now today, they're making electronics for kids, and stuff like that. Stuff that's more easily monitored and stuff. And I mean today you can put parental controls and stuff and things to help things, but it's not gonna stop them. What I'd say if you don't want it to be a problem, just don't let them start yet. Like,
okay, but what if they already have started, or you don't know enough about it to know that they've started?
If they've already started, I would probably say, I'm not good at this.
No. And here's the thing, and I'm going to let you know, there's no like right answer or wrong answer on this.
I mean, I would just say monitor them closely, make sure that they're not changing too much from this. Because I mean,
so you're saying monitor the child, like look at the behavior,
the stuff that they're using on their electronic device.
So here's the point I'm getting at, which you've kind of touched on. You don't understand how to use this stuff, to monitor it.
Okay.
So what would you do to fix that?
I'd probably do what a grandma would do and try to, get into it. Try to learn it.
Right.
Yeah. I have a grandma.
You do?
And she does the exact same thing to me. She tries to talk to me and she wants to learn how to do this kind of stuff.
Sure.
And, I mean, that would be the best way to, because I don't know if you've ever heard about what Terry Crews did with his kid.
I did. Yeah. I did hear about this. This is really cool too. But tell him.
So his kid, he felt like his kid was drifting away from him.
Yes.
And he was always playing video games and stuff. And Terry Crews was like, he would tell his kid about, hey, what are you doing and stuff? He'd be like, I'm playing video games, Dad. And he's like, oh, that's cool. What kind of video game stuff? And his kid would talk to him about it. And eventually Terry Crews was like, you know what? I'm going to build a computer with my son.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he connected with him through technology. And they play computer games together now. And Terry Crews is into technology now.
Yeah.
It's a good bonding thing. But
now, and I'll tell you, so here's from the flip side of that. And you are absolutely correct, I think. Like, it is a good bonding. But your grandma, for example, lovely woman, sweet woman. But it's tough.
Yeah.
Like, that's a tough thing. That's a scary thing to learn.
It's frustrating. Like, for me, it can be frustrating.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Whenever she wants me to tell her about electronics, the first thing she does, she gets some pen and paper.
Right. But that's how, but that is just how she.
Yeah, that's how she functions.
Yeah.
She didn't have this stuff back then.
No, this is completely, this is explaining how to make a brick to you.
The only thing that she would ever have remotely probably to that was a typewriter. And that was just fair. Typing.
Yeah.
And
the funny thing is a typewriter is just data storage.
Yeah. But
it's like you just store data on a paper.
Exactly.
And they do
that's the thing. It's physical storage.
Yes, it is. That's all it is. I never actually thought about that.
Yeah.
The paper is the hard disk.
It's not but your limit isn't size. It's not bytes. It's how much paper you
Space.
have. Yeah,
It's still
It's still
space.
space though.
Yeah. And you can really, if you want to, you can cram a lot more in there.
Yeah.
It's harder to sift through, but you can cram more in there.
You could still compress it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you could get your own code words and stuff like that. But you know,
that's fast. It's a fascinating parallel when you think about it.
But no, I mean, and the one problem with my grandma.
Hold on. Actually, so on the Venegram, so back in the day, they used to have a thing called shorthand. Has she talked to you about shorthand?
No.
Okay, so you want to talk about like file compression? Mm-hmm. So back in the day, they used to secretaries would have to take notes. Like so, it would be like hey Siri, remember to da, 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 da. And then except Siri was a human being, and they would write it down.
Yeah, also back then you had like when you try to talk to someone on the telephone, you'd have an operator and stuff like that.
Right,
it wasn't automated.
Right. So, but what they had to do was it's hard to write. Like the English language is just complicated. Like some words, like complicated, have a bunch of letters in them. Mm-hmm. So that takes a while to jot down, and you speak way faster than you can write.
Yeah.
So what they did was they invented something called shorthand, which was like a short abbreviated way of writing down words, letters, and things.
So like what you would do online today, like how LOL and stuff like that.
Yeah. Except it was made to be written really quickly, and then it's like retranslated.
You'd have to learn all that too.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it used to be a mandatory thing that you had to learn. You had to learn shorthand if you wanted to do business.
If you were a secretary, I mean, you'd had to.
You want to see some pictures of it?
Sure.
Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it.
Okay. Oh, you're messing everything up.
I messed everything up.
Oh, that's gonna sound lovely.
That's gonna be terrible.
That's
bad podcasting.
Gonna sound amazing on the recording.
Podcasting. Oh, I ruined everything. Hold on. Actually, hold on. We'll do it over here. So this is cool. This is just a mild tangent. I just wanted you to see it because I'm sure she's talked about it before.
I mean, she might have, but one of the problems with
it looks so weird. All right, hold on.
Oh, so they were actual symbols?
Yeah, that's shorthand.
That looks like when they tried to teach me cursive in school.
Right, it's like cursive on like crank.
Like it looks like have you ever seen how teachers edit papers today?
See? If, half, age, each.
How do you know that age and each is just a smaller version of each?
Yeah, she, fear, feel, felt.
People have to learn this. That's insane.
Isn't that cool though? But
it's pretty insane.
But you can write so much quicker just going like, oh, felt happy.
Yeah, well, I mean, it already looks like my handwriting, so.
That's true. That's absolutely true. All right, so I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just thought you'd think that was kind of interesting.
The one problem though with my grandma is the computer that she has is horrible. So basically, the computer died.
Horrible by your standards.
No. Anyone's standards. Her computer can barely run Internet Explorer.
Okay.
I'm not even joking. It's really bad.
Right.
And and she's always asking me about what kind of laptop she should get and stuff like that. The only problem is since I'm so into technology, it's like any type of laptop that it's just gonna be loaded with freeware, annoying stuff, and everything like that.
Sure.
Like the only thing you could do is just build it yourself. Of course, she's not gonna be building a computer anytime soon. And I was actually thinking about the other is like one day maybe I should just build her a computer.
I think that'd be really cool.
It would.
Yeah. And you get to build a computer on top of it.
I don't have money.
Right. No, I understand. I
mean, it's not like I need to do anything special, but
right. Well, and that's the thing. Like, and this is something you learn as you get older. Is like what. You learn to separate, and it'll take a while, but you learn to separate like what you think and like you're like, oh, what I like is good and what I feel is cool.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work for everybody. Like my standards are not the world's standards. And it takes a while to like start sorting that out and stuff like that.
But like, and I mean, people, I'm being completely honest, you can't even think about how slow her computer is. And it has nothing on it. It's not like it's full of bloatware or anything. It's literally just Windows that doesn't run on the computer. It's so bad.
Oh, all right. We're going to stop trashing your grandma's computer for a hot second.
Well, she bought another computer. She bought this it was an Asus.
Asus?
Like,
is it Asus or Asus?
I don't know.
I've always said Asus. I don't know actually.
I sometimes say both. I'll alternate. But she got this really tiny computer that has like 180-degree The screen can move like 180 degrees. It's a tablet too. You can it's basic. It's really just a tablet you can just take off. This has a keyboard that you can hook up to it.
Oh yeah, all right. I know yet.
For me, it's really bad because because it was my computer at first. She got it for me to use at her.
She sounds like a very nice lady.
I couldn't play on her computer.
Right.
And the problem is this computer had like 1 gigahertz. Like it had like no. It was mainly just for word processing, pretty much.
Sure, which is fine.
Yeah. No. That's the thing. And now I basically let her use it now. I've given it to her. I've tried teaching her how to use it because I don't have a use for it.
Actually, you've touched on something that I think is interesting to bring up. So, like a lot of old people complaint is that the younger and this is I'm going to let you on a little secret. A timeless old people complaint is that the younger generation is ungrateful.
Yeah,
they are ungrateful for all the things that they have.
I will be completely honest. I mean, every year, it just gets worse with us. Like,
you think so?
I mean, when I was a freshman, that was last year, I thought I was bad. Now that we have a whole new set of freshmen,
you've seen freshmen,
it's even worse.
Now that you're on the outside, you can see it.
Next year, well, it was the same thing in middle school. Like when I was in.
Now that I'm safe, middle schoolers are the worst.
When I was in 7th grade,
right,
you had the 6th graders, and the 6th graders were well behaved and stuff.
Sure.
But then when I got in 7th grade and we had 6th graders, the 6th graders were even worse. And then when
don't you think it's subjective though?
It's my opinion. I probably was just as bad when I was that grade.
Right.
But
it's interesting that you recognize it so quickly.
It just feels like every year.
You think it's like just growing exponentially for you?
And that's the thing. As kids get into technology, it's one of those things where they'll get into technology and then they'll want more out of it.
Do you think the knowledge divide has something to do with that? Like that you just intrinsically know more about it because you do it all the time and other people struggle with it. Like, do you think that gap of knowledge, like you're way the hell up here and they're, older people are down here with it. Do you think it makes it harder to communicate about it? And that's some of the tension?
Well, if you're trying to teach them like directly, I can see the difference. And the thing, it makes complete sense. Back then computers were expensive. You couldn't just get one and learn how to use it.
Right.
I've gotten into fights before with my grandma over trying to teach her, stuff about the computer.
Right. But does she think you're ungrateful because of it?
We've gotten in heated conversations. She called me spoiled brat and stuff before.
Sure.
And I will be completely honest. Back then, I was a spoiled brat.
You don't think you're a spoiled brat now?
Now, I probably still am. It's just now, so I don't look at it.
Right. So if you close your eyes and you're a year from now, do you think you're going to be a spoiled brat now?
Well, see, this is
based on all the empirical evidence you've just cited before.
Well, the thing about it now is I'm not one of those people anymore that's like, I need this now. Like,
right.
And I've came to things. I don't have a job yet, so
sure.
I'm only going to get paid on my birthday and on Christmas because I don't get an allowance.
Right.
So I've learned that it's like I just need to figure out the things that I would want when I have money, and then I save that on.
That's fair.
It's very rare that I ask my mom for something right away now.
Okay.
Back then we would go to Target and there would be a candy bar and I'd be like, Mom, I need this candy bar right now. It was bad. She'd always teach me the things, how there's things you want and there's things you need. Exactly.
Yeah. It's a good life lesson.
Yeah.
All right. We got a little more time and I want to touch another thing.
Okay.
We kind of talked about it earlier with the video game streaming. So the other thing people ask me about is like Twitch.
Okay.
Like streaming video games. Why do you stream video games? Why not just play the video games? What is the big deal with seeing people play the games? Would you pay money? And are games, like I'm going to hit you with a lot of stuff here.
Okay.
You can unpack it at your leisure.
Okay.
And are games sports? Like eSports are kind of coming up. Is this really a thing?
Okay, so I'll just start with what Twitch is in the beginning. So basically, Twitch is a streaming platform where instead of like YouTube, where everything is pre-recorded and you watch it, Twitch is all live. So when the thing happens on the screen in Twitch, it's happened in real life like there's latency, of course, so it happens like 20 seconds later.
Sure.
But,
I mean,
but it's
TV is
live.
the same
Yeah.
way.
And the thing about Twitch that makes it so much more fun is it can be interactive. There's a chat, and the people can actually talk to the chat sometimes. You know,
So it's like being able to talk to your TV.
yeah, yeah.
Like
So
being able to yell at Bryant Gumbel.
yeah, and you know, it's back to like when E3 was going on.
Yes.
You know, you have E3 stream going on. You could watch it live,
Right.
and then you have channels streaming E3 and talking about it while it's happening, like giving their opinions out.
And that's how I watched E3,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
I watched
That's how I watched it, too.
Yeah, I watched the Twitch stream.
But basically, you know, it can be more fun, and on top of that, anyone can do it. And,
Right,
and
yeah.
with YouTube, I've uploaded a few YouTube videos and I've streamed before.
Yep.
And I've gotten with YouTube, it's a lot more difficult on YouTube than it is with Twitch. With Twitch, you can just get it in, there's an open source program you can get,
Yep.
and then
Which the Matt and Dave show actually uses. OBS.
oh, you use OBS?
Yeah, we use OBS.
But
When we actually use
Yeah.
it, but I have like the lower thirds and stuff
but the
set
only
up.
thing is streaming is more demanding.
Yes.
You need to have good internet connection, and
Well, you're essentially running like
yeah.
a live studio production.
Yeah, when you're playing something, it gets
Yeah.
compressed and then it gets sent out, and
Yeah.
your computer, it's doing that all
Yeah,
the time, and I still have this, and you need a good computer to do it. My computer has problems streaming sometimes, like you know, it's getting to the point where, you know, people do Twitch for a living. It's their job
Yes,
now.
I know a couple
you get
that do it,
sponsor, you get sponsorship. Yeah, I know you do.
yeah.
You get sponsorships and stuff. You can subscribe to people on Twitch. You can donate to people on Twitch, and when you donate to people, you know, it might do text to speech, or they might address you like
Right.
in person.
Yeah.
I mean, not in person, but like in the
give you a
stream.
shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was one of the other questions you asked me? I can't remember.
Esports.
Esports. So esports is competitive.
Yes.
It's not a sport. I
You
mean,
don't think so?
Like, well, the definition of sport defines it as a sport. So yeah, technically it is a sport. If you're thinking about the stereotypical sport though, like soccer and stuff like that, it's not a sport.
So is race driving a sport?
See, the thing, well, here, can you pull up the definition of sport real quick?
I can pull up the
Because
that's the cool thing about this.
That's the thing is, you know, people look at sports as the stereotypical, you know, baseball, hockey, and stuff like that.
Sure.
There's an actual definition though of sport. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it's just any sport that has teamwork. An activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. So, esports, I mean, it's not physical. No, it is physical activity. I mean, not that much, and it's skill. So technically, by the definition, it is a sport. NASCAR is skill, and there is, you know,
there's more exertion in NASCAR than there is in esports.
NASCAR, like racing is a sport, you
Yeah.
know, but people shouldn't be like, oh, well, it's up there with like baseball and that kind of stuff.
So where does esports fall in that for you? Not that there's good or bad answers.
I don't know. Esports falls in.
Is it ahead of NASCAR and F1, or is it below
No,
NASCAR and
it would be
F1?
below. Like you have, because esports is really just, I don't really know how to stand on this because I'm not like too big on esports. I don't watch like League of Legends stuff. I'm basically a simulation type of guy.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So
You're not like when I say now, I'm going to say Twitch gamer, but I don't mean a Twitch gamer.
No,
I
I'm
mean,
not.
so and we have to explain. There's multiple definitions of Twitch.
Yeah.
Okay, so Twitch gaming is like the rail shooters where you're like a guy and you're jumping around an arena trying to shoot the
Yeah.
other person and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like Quake is like the original like
Yeah.
Twitch streamer shooter, which is what I grew up playing. Which they're actually doing another release of, which made me excited.
Yeah, I know. I
at
saw
E3.
that. I
Yeah.
saw that. I thought about you when I saw that.
But yeah. So, but those are usually kind of like the esporty type of games. And then you
Yeah.
have the
You have
what are they? Moebs? Is that the name of it? I think it's
so.
Moebs.
I think so.
Yeah. Which was an old mod for Warcraft 3 that
Yeah.
got turned into its own
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now you have eSport Sports, which is actual sport games that they put on the console.
Yes.
Because
Fake video game football
Yeah.
is now an actual sport.
yeah, well,
Which is hilarious to me.
I play NHL 18 because I like hockey.
You love hockey. Yeah.
I represent my team all the time. Go Bolts.
Go Bolts, right? Go Bolts.
The other day, they not too long ago they hosted their national championship for NHL 18.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like,
Where was it at?
I don't know.
Oh, all right.
But it was like,
Did you watch it?
no, I didn't watch it. I
don't know.
I mean, like I was considering it. I didn't know when it was. I didn't
Sure.
put in enough effort. I think some dude playing as the Penguins won.
All right.
But I was like, it's come to this, haven't it?
Yeah.
Hasn't it? You know, 'cause I mean, I remember back when like the first sport games came out on electronics. It was just like, you know, you could play the game. Like it was insane. Like, and then it came out with drafts. You can make your own drafts. Like you could make your own team and stuff.
Yeah,
and then I remember, and I was talking to this the other day with someone how back then they're bringing Madden back to the PC.
Yes, I did hear that. Yeah.
But NHL used to be on the PC too. The problem was it was moddable, and people could just mod in the game's new features because EA is known for they just release the game every year, but there's usually not new content in it.
No.
It's just updated.
No.
It's just updated like drafts and stuff.
Yeah.
When it was
With
online,
their sports games.
yeah. When it was online,
And the rest of their games.
when it was online, yeah. EA kind of sucks.
Well, they may sponsor us one day, so
Okay.
let's not stab them too deep in the gut. They're not going to sponsor us. That's fine.
No, I mean you got Battlefield 5 coming out. Oh, that's exciting. But you know, you didn't need to buy the game every year anymore because people would just make
they kept modding it.
Yeah, people would just make the game. They would just make the new rosters and stuff.
Right.
And half the time they would do it before the new game even came out.
Right. What's the point?
Yeah,
then?
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. I feel I would love for it to be back on the computer. It's probably never going to come back.
So
to
here's the
computer,
thing, though. Do you think a way, and it's kind of off topic, but do you think a way around that is like making those games a subscription service? Like you pay $10 a month and you'll get the automatically updated stats roster. Like if somebody's out with an injury, like true fantasy football. Like if they're out with an injury for that week, they're not available to play. Like you're able. Like, would you pay for something like that? Well, as a hockey fan, not as a football fan. Obviously, you don't care about the football.
Well, I mean, and you know, EA did the thing where, you know, you had other companies making sports games, like, and they would make better sports game stuff. And what EA did was, oh no, we're just going to sign a deal with the actual league. Yeah. Well, now EA has released a thing called EA Access, where you purchase a subscription and you get access to the new games come out for free. I think something like that. And you know, if EA made better games, maybe.
But I mean, the idea of that does that level of realism appeal to you?
It depends on what you're getting in the game. Like if you're doing EA Access and then you're getting a game where you're gonna have to buy loot boxes to play the game and stuff like that. Yeah,
I'm not talking about loot boxes and stuff. I'm talking about like $10 a month. You get an actual updated roster weekly. Like stats change, injuries change.
I could see that would be a good investment. You know, I'm not that in like I'm not
that into the realism of it.
Into the realism. I will usually when I play NHL, I make myself into the game. I put myself on the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Right. And you're like all your stats are 300.
No. I actually balance my character pretty well.
Really?
My overall is only like 85, I think.
Really?
Yeah. I don't. I mean, back then I would do that. I mean,
sure. Dude, I have friends that still do that.
Yeah.
He calls it his Tampa, and he always picks the Lightning, and he always just makes them grossly overpowered.
Well, see, that's the thing. When I was,
and he's a grown human being.
When I was a kid and I went to daycare, we had a PlayStation 2, and I would play Madden 08 on it, and I made my own team. And he would always. Everyone was 100% overall.
Right. Now, did you put your friends in it?
No.
Oh, so
I didn't have enough time to make my own characters.
You just changed the stats.
I just changed the characters to be 100.
All right. Another thing and so we've established. So it's like sports for you. then like NASCAR drivey skill sports, like motorized skill sports, and then like eSports at the bottom.
But that's my opinion.
No, I get it. I understand that's your opinion. So here's a little. Here's a curveball for you. Drone racing. Where does drone racing fall for you?
I didn't even. I've seen like one drone racing.
It's so cool.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, drone racing takes a lot of skill.
It does. It really does.
I mean, those things are flying quick and they're going vertical and all this stuff.
Oh yeah,
it's insane. I mean, to be completely honest, I mean, the training that you would need to do that and stuff. It seems like it's definitely more entertaining to watch than cars going around a circle for 400 laps.
Fair enough.
I mean, when I was a kid, I had a NASCAR phase. I loved watching NASCAR.
Sure.
I mainly only liked watching NASCAR though because crashes. You know, just like how some people with hockey, they're like, oh, I don't like the game, but I like the fights.
Sure. Everybody has their own thing.
Yeah,
we're not judging.
There's actually this one time, it was the Coke 0400, and
I love that you're talking about the Coke 0400.
It got delayed because it was pouring rain.
Sure.
And I stayed up till like 2:00 in the morning, and then the race finally started, and I watched the whole race.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding.
I have never watched a full NASCAR race.
I watched the full NASCAR race.
I've never watched a full NASCAR race.
I don't know. I don't know. It was the phase that I was going through.
No, I mean, again, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, there's a lot of people I know, they love NASCAR.
No, and there's nothing wrong with loving NASCAR.
Yeah, and they play but they play the fantasy version of it as well, like for the points and the whole season, and they.
I remember on the Nintendo 64, they had a NASCAR game that was really fun, and I played it all the time.
Right.
Yeah. You know, now you can just get like Forza and stuff. I mean, Forza has NASCAR in it.
Oh, Forza.
Yeah, it has.
Oh, dude, Forza's like a great game.
I have it, and it has licensed NASCAR things, and you can play around the Daytona track, and it's actually fun. Me and my friend has played it before, and it's a lot more skill. Like, it takes a lot more skill than it looks like.
Dude,
those cars are really fast.
Oh, dude, like what those guys put their bodies through just to sit in that position, driving at that speed.
Long.
Oh yeah, this is not us besmirching that in the slightest.
And I mean, you got to think about it when they're going around those corners. I mean, they might only be experiencing like 1G, half a G, but still, when you're doing that
400 laps
for
of
hours,
1G,
yeah, that's pretty insane.
Yeah,
and I mean, the main thing that this startles me is how like those cars are just so safe. Like, you see the crashes that they get into,
but they're made to be. Yeah, like, they're built for that.
Built for it.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's insane to think that when NASCAR first started, you just sat in a car that wasn't. It wasn't even. It didn't have a windshield. It was just a seat with a steering wheel and it had like a V12 engine in it.
Right.
If you crashed, you were basically dead.
That's it. Yeah.
All
right. One more thing, and then we'll call it. We'll high five and we'll call it. I want to get your thoughts. Matt and I briefly talked about this, but you and I are a little more into it. On E3. What were your highlights? What were you disappointed in, and why?
Definitely Todd the Man.
Todd the Man
was the highlight.
So explain Todd the Man.
So basically, like, who he is.
Yeah.
Well,
people are not going to know who Todd the Man is.
I don't remember his last name. Is like Todd Howard or something?
Doesn't matter. What's he do?
Basically, he's Bethesda's like lead developer. He's made Elder Scrolls, Oblivion.
Sure.
He makes Fallout.
Tell people what Bethesda is.
Bethesda is a gaming company. They make games.
Got it.
And they're one of those gaming companies that, you know, I mean, this is biased.
Obviously, it's an opinion. It's an opinion show.
It's a big opinion, but it's one of the only companies that still isn't like corrupted at all. Bethesda, like, you know, they still, don't get me wrong, they still make bad games every once in a while.
Sure. Everyone makes bad games.
But like, compared to E3, I mean, not E3, compared to like EA, like, they're a good company. But and you know, it's just my opinion. Everyone's going to think differently.
Sure.
I know people that hate the company. They're like, oh, they just capitalize on what people like Fallout, so they just throw out a Fallout game and they make a lot of money out of it.
Yeah.
But basically, Fallout was my main highlight.
Yeah. Fallout 76.
Yes,
the new one.
So, I was watching. So I was at a hockey match that day. So I was actually at an arena, and 9:30 hit, the time that the conference started, and I was in the middle of watching this hockey game. I mean, it wasn't like NHL. It was it was my mom's boyfriend who was playing.
Sure.
But there was like 5 minutes left in the game, and I was like, I don't care anymore. To be completely honest, we were losing pretty bad in the game. But I turned on my phone, and of course I was rushing home to see my best friend because we were going to watch it together.
Sure.
And I got to his doorstep. They started saying Fallout 76 right before we pulled in, and we have this light by our house, by Ruth Eckerd Hall, and it turns red when there's a show.
Yep.
And it stayed red for so long.
Right. Yeah.
I was in the car like aggressively tapping my feet because it's like the house is like
it's so close.
It's really so close.
I can taste the Fallout 76.
And when they first announced it, I was like, or I'm not going to make it. And then they were like, well, first they're going to play the trailer. And I already saw the teaser trailer because they showed it earlier in the day.
Yeah.
But the light stayed red for so long. And then they started talking about it, and the light finally turned green, and I ran to his house to get in there, and we watched it, and oh my god, we were
So you're stoked. You're stoked about this.
I already pre-ordered it.
Oh yeah,
I pre-ordered it the day. I
it,
pre-ordered it the day after.
Nice.
I wanted to pre-order it the day they started.
Yeah,
but I don't have a credit card. So I had to get a parent.
I think
to buy
it's
it.
reasonable.
Yeah, but I wanted to get the collector's edition, but it's too expensive.
Sure. Yeah,
but
it's pricey.
So, and then on top of that, Microsoft's announced like the new Forza Motorsport 8 is coming out, and I'm pretty excited about that.
Yep.
I didn't actually watch Microsoft's E3 presentation. I wasn't up. I don't remember why I didn't watch it, but there was a reason.
Right.
But I still need to watch it, but I heard about Forza. The new Forza is coming out.
Is it Forza or Forza?
I don't know.
It's going to be one of those things like Asus or Asus.
I don't know, and I don't really care. It's just a good game.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm really stoked. And Square Enix, I wasn't up for.
Right.
They didn't have a good conference. The only thing they announced Just Cause 4.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you played the Just Cause series?
Just Cause 3 was on sale a while back, and I bought it.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I wanted it ever since it came out. I just never had the money.
I have 2. I have 3. I haven't played it yet, though.
Oh, you gotta play it. Because that's the thing about 2 is like the controls were kind of wonky.
Really?
Like the way. Well, it's basically they took the main character and turned him into a god in 3. Like you have a wingsuit now. It's insane.
I mean, you're pretty overpowered in 2. I'm gonna let you know a little secret.
No, I mean in 3 though, it's a whole new level.
Really?
You have a wingsuit. You have your classic parachute.
Right.
You have your grapple thing.
Right.
And and then you also have your C4s. You can put rockets in the C4s.
I heard.
You can put them on cows and just hit your button and they go rocketing.
Yeah. Did you see the balloon thing they're doing in 4? I mean, and they added the tornado, which was kind of cool.
I didn't watch the trailer yet.
Oh, dude, Kieran.
I know.
Kieran. There's a tornado.
There's a tornado?
There's an actual tornado.
I want to need
There's a spawning tornado in the game that you can like drive through and then like wingsuit. Like there's a tornado.
Oh, maybe I might need to pre-order this game too.
But they also added the balloons, the weather balloons.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So, and they showed a shot of this APC with like 6 weather balloons attached to it and rockets on the back.
Yeah.
And this guy on top just remote controlling, like flying the APC using the rockets.
And so one of my favorite things about open world games is vehicles. The amount of vehicles you can get.
Yeah.
And one of my main things is, can you fly a jumbo jet? And,
right.
And I mean, in Just Cause 3, you can get a jumbo jet with 4 engines, and you can give it turbo boosts. Like the jet engines will have rockets on them.
Sure.
Up.
Oh, I gotta play that game.
Oh, you have to, dude.
I'll play it.
And one of the most fun, and I mean, I can't even start by but one of the things you can do is you can grapple onto any helicopter,
right?
And just hijack it.
Yeah, you can do that in 2 too.
And then like airplanes, it gets to the point where you can grapple airplanes together. And
it's funny, like in 2, and we'll move on to a different game because we're kind of neck deep in Just Cause, but like it's easier than like fighting a helicopter. Like helicopter to helicopter combat is actually harder than it is just hanging below and grappling to the other helicopter and then just taking it over.
What I do is, because when you're fighting a base, you have SAMs.
Yeah,
they'll destroy your helicopter.
So
I just grapple onto them and then put a C4 on them and blow them up
and just crash them down. Yep.
I go for tanks instead.
All right, what else about E3 excited you?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure you're excited about it. They announced the new Elder Scrolls 6.
I'm excited about new Elder Scrolls.
I mean, it's probably gonna be like 2 years till we get it, but
sure, they teased it.
They teased it. They very, very briefly teased it.
They really just kind of like a taste.
The new Smash Bros.
You're excited about the new Smash Brothers?
I've played every Smash Bros game.
So can I tell you something?
What?
As big a nerd as I am, I have never played Smash Brothers.
How?
I have never picked up a controller and played around.
How do you not play Smash Bros?
Of Smash Brothers? I've just never played it. It was actually, I'm gonna pull back the curtain a little bit. It wasn't until like 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, that I even understood how the game was played. I assumed it was just like every other fighting game, but no, it's not. You have to knock the person off.
Yeah, you have to hit them far enough off the screen.
Right, like I thought it was just like a health thing, and then when you knocked them out, they're gone.
Yeah.
I did not.
That's one of the big things about Smash Bros. People love is the way that you knock people out.
Right. I had no idea about that. Like that is how complete. Like I know like the tropes around it and the memes and stuff like that, but
Waluigi's not in the new game.
Right. Waluigi's not being in a new game, which like has upset the internet some tears. But you're like, so you're really into this game.
I'm not good at it, but I'm really into the game. I love the game.
So people are really into like the Smash Brothers community is a passionate community.
See, one of the main. I remember when I got the Wii U version when it came out, and the Wii U version, I'm going to be completely honest, was horrible.
Yeah,
the main way that you used to get characters is there was like a story type mode.
Sure,
where like you would
fought
fight
the hand
people.
at the end.
Yeah, well that was GameCube.
That was GameCube.
When you got the Wii, and that was how you unlocked characters in that game. And of course, you had like 6 more characters to unlock. In the Wii version, you had like 20 characters to unlock.
Right.
And there was an actual like story mode where you would fight other characters and stuff like that. It was basically like GameCube, except there wasn't a boss, Mr. Hand. You fought the character itself.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah.
And then
you
at
do
the
that
end
in
to
GameCube
unlock
too.
it.
Yeah. And if you won, you would unlock him.
Got it.
But in the Wii U version, they completely removed that. You just got every character in the beginning of the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Horrible. Because I was like, when I first started, I was like, this is pretty insane. There's going to be so many characters in this game. And then I was like, wait, where's the story mode?
Right.
It's
None
basically
of it.
like, yeah, it was like, there were game modes and stuff like that, but there was no story mode. So there was you had no like reason to feel accomplished. Because you just had everything unlocked already.
So you're excited about the new one, though? You think do you think the new one will fix it?
Well, see, the thing is, if you've never played it, that would be where you want to start because they're bringing back every single character.
Right, like every 64 characters.
Yeah,
I'd heard. Yeah,
yeah. One of the biggest thing was Riley from
Splatoon.
No, Samus. I never was into.
The dragon thing.
Yeah. I don't remember. I never got into Metroid, but
I played the original Metroid. It's like a hard game.
Yeah.
I think I remember playing that as a kid for like an hour, and then I was like, we're good.
I mean, all old games were super hard. That's kind of one of the things that sucks today is games are so like, especially Pokemon. I mean, today, like you'd have to get like strategy guides back then for Pokemon and stuff.
Yeah.
Today, I was a while back I was playing Pokemon Y, and I beat it in a day, no problem.
Pokemon Yellow.
No, Pokemon Y.
Oh,
they had
Pokemon Y.
X and Y.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
No, back then.
So can I tell you another secret?
Yeah.
Never played Pokemon.
I've played like almost every Pokemon
Never
game,
played a
and you've
Pokemon.
never played Pokemon.
Never made it.
What's wrong with you?
So when I started playing video games, like people, because Pokemon started for me as a card game. So people were like, "Oh, I gotta get the Pokemon, the Pokemon." I was like, "I don't want to play this stupid card game. Card games are stupid."
Did you ever try to play the card game?
I did not, but
Because
I knew.
did, and like a while back, and I got hooked into it, and then I lost all the cards. So,
but I would be like, "Nah, I'm not playing." You know, I was real like, "Man, I'm not gonna play no stupid card game." And that my hatred for the card game like branched out. I'm like, I'm not
You
playing
never
that stupid.
got pulled into the game.
Never got pulled in at all.
The fan base was so good though.
I know.
Oh, you need to play a Pokemon game. Like
Yeah.
you need to play an older one though. You can't play a new one. Like you get the new ones are nice, but they're so
Like Pokemon, like Red.
yeah. I mean, as games go on, they're getting easier.
Yeah.
And they're getting like
it's a universal thing.
and I would recommend like you could Pokemon Red would be great because it's like one of the first games that they made. But if you want to start where I would recommend Pokemon Diamond. It was on the
Really?
DS.
Yeah, I know
This is my
Diamond.
first Pokemon game.
All right.
It was an amazing game. It took me a month to beat. Of course, I was still a kid, but like, I mean, this was when 3D. They first started using more 3D
the
graphic
3D thing,
types.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? I lied. I just lied to you. I
What?
have played a
What game
Pokemon
have you
game.
played?
I played the Pokemon Arena on
Oh,
64.
you did on the 64.
I played that.
That game is one of the best games on the 64.
I did play that. I played that, and that's when I realized that it was just a big giant game of paper, rock, scissors.
Arena and Snap. Well, that was Arena too.
yeah.
You know, you never played one of the actual story
No,
modes.
I never played
The
anything.
Pokemon games came on the Nintendo 64, although they were great. Like
It just wasn't the same.
They weren't actual Pokemon.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up right now.
All right.
You've been doing well.
Oh,
I would
thank
like to
you.
say you've
Thank
been
you. I was
like
a bit nervous when we
yeah.
started.
No, you're good. You're doing good. All right. So, what is the one thing before we wrap up? Before we put a button on this,
Oh yeah.
what is the one thing you think like adults should know about the new stuff coming out? Like, what do you like? What's your piece of advice to them?
Like to a kid, like
To
or
grown-up.
just I'd say, I mean, E3 just started, so I'd say do your research now. You know, get into it if you want to. I mean, it's easy to learn about this kind of stuff today. You know, I mean, you don't even have to spend money or anything. Like if you just want to learn how to use a computer, I mean, as long as you can go on the internet and search up how to use a computer. But you know, if you want to get into video games, you just got to start. You got to get Steam or something, you know, find a type of like what kind of style you like. Make sure it has good reviews, and then, you know, just play it.
Nice.
You know, and that's the thing, even a normal gamer has to take risks sometime.
Sure.
You know, you can't like, you know, you can watch Let's Plays and stuff like that. But just because the game looks good in Let's Plays doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be good for you. You just you have to get into that kind of stuff, you know?
All right. Just get into the stuff.
Just get into it. I mean, I don't have any advice other than that. If you want to start getting into the gaming thing, you have to do it yourself.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's a perfectly fair piece of advice.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Well, I promised you one, so high five. All right. We will see you soon. Say goodbye, Kieran.
Bye.
Later, guys.